Welcome, sir. Sir, shall we begin?
Yeah, no issues. Please.
Okay, thank you. I, Dr. Nirupama Patel, on behalf of JIT, welcome you, sir. I welcome all the participants in the second session of the day 4. I'm happy to introduce Dr. Deepak J. Mashru, sir, for the expert talk in this session. He has obtained PhD in ELT, Master of Arts in English, Masters of Commerce, Master of Journalism and Mass Communication, Bachelor of Education in English, and Postgraduate Diploma in Computer Application. He has been in the field of English language teaching for more than 2 decades. He has taught English, communication skills, economics, management, research, and many more subjects at various levels from secondary to PG level. He has authored and co-authored 13 books on various subjects. He has contributed by launching 3 Android applications for Google Voice Assistant application, for Amazon Alexa application for effective English teaching. He has been awarded Pedagogical Innovation Award by Gujarat Technological University in 2017. He has been facilitated as Academic Genius of the Year by Genius Indian Ethics Award 2017 by Genius Foundation. He has been facilitated as an influencer by the Google crowdsource community. He is also an active member of Google Educators Group. Presently, he is associated with Marwari University as an assistant professor, where he deals with many subjects like English, business communication, and research skills of undergraduate and postgraduate programs. He is a language technologist. He likes to blend technology in English language teaching. He always tries to make the learning and teaching of English language more effective and interesting. Above all, he is a catalyst, philanthropist, and passionate teacher by choice. I welcome you, sir, once again. I request you, sir, to start the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. It has been there in the last sessions too, because I mentioned that post-lit sessions are very difficult sessions for participants. The way it took around 20 minutes time to join, because it is difficult to run the brain when your stomach is busy, right? So I'll try to make the session more interesting, engaging, and interactive, so that we can have more take home, and I can make you less bored, right? So we can start the session by doing that. I'll walk you through the presentation, and we'll have lots of activities during that. So let's go for it. Before that, I would like to ask one question to everybody. The teachers are there to ask questions, right? There are around 20 participants. So I want to know from you people that what exactly do you find a difference when we talk about pre-COVID and post-COVID, whatever situation that we could find. I did my PhD doctoral research on teaching English through technology. So I was fortunate enough to incorporate whatever I had thought of and whatever I used to do for smaller group of class. Now I can do it for a larger groups. But I wanted to know from this intelligent assembly that according to you, what is better, or what do you find, in terms of comparative analysis, what we had in within the four walls, and what when we see things before the screens. Because I know that all of you would have witnessed that your kids, your nephews, your niece, they when they go for online coaching. So what are the differences, or what are the things that comes to your mind where we can improve and we can incorporate things? I want this feedback at the end of the session, so you can have around 100 minutes time to brainstorm, you think about it, and whatever things you have in your mind or your observations, we'll have a discussion on it. and I'll tell you that why did I start with this, and we'll have a few deliberations, we will have few explorations, we'll have few discussions based on that. Now, I'll start the presentation. Give me a second. Yeah. Okay. So, fine. So today's topic is importance of communication skills in higher education. So if you look at the title, we can divide title in few parts. We'll be discussing those things in the coming time. Okay. So let's start with this. Okay. So I'll start with this first slide. That is emergency exit. Actually, here we have compulsory entry. We are forcing people, we are asking people to join, and I'm talking about emergency exit, right? I want to know from you people that, if you can correlate this, if you have read this in, sign anywhere, or especially if you look at, 2019, when you traveled somewhere, in airlines, you must have come across people, see, the reason why we have less accidents, less crashing aircrafts, because they follow checklist. Whatever they do every day, they follow checklist, right? So when we have checklist with us, there are list possibilities of mistakes. So we must have come across, when we have traveled in the past, by air, we would come across certain things. Those are frequent flyers. Sometimes they get irritated that why it happens every time, but it is their duty because it is there in the checklist. Fine, they explain you the details. So I wanted to ask you this in that reference, that if anybody has can recall, or if anybody has come across such situation, right, if you can correlate this word emergency exit, in that way we can start. So anybody can unmute mic and can share the details. How many of you have come across this situation where you could find such instructions given by air hostess? You can type yes in the chat box. Okay. My question is, when you come across such situation, you must have come across, or you must have listened to those instructions. But thing is that, can we, if situation arises, can we do that? Can we operate that door, emergency exit door? See, thing is that it's very simple, that whatever we learn, right, there are different types of learnings, right? So there are different modes of learning. Here, what I want to tell you is, if we talk about, if we just listen to the things, in that case, there are possibilities of getting things done is less. It is about learning by doing, right? So if you unless and until do not do it by yourself, you will not be able to operate it. By watching the instructions, it is difficult. Why? Because people are more acquainted, people are more convenient when things are when you do the things by yourself. So once you do that, it will be easy. So here the purpose, the objective of such kind of STTPs are to hone your skills, to sharpen your skills, to make your learning curve bigger and bigger by giving an opportunity to contribute. Because the way you contribute here, you can expect the same kind of thing in your classroom when you go to the classroom. Fine. And with this COVID situation, I must tell you that whatever secret profession was there of a teaching, which was there confined within the four walls, has become public suddenly, right? And that's why we find lots of difficulties. We come across lots of difficulties, in terms of communicating, right? So there are things. So I knew that there are things post lunch. So I was there with Plan B. I wanted to explain, with this response, if you look at this. So I want to know from you people that what do you mean by these two images? If you can type something in the chat box. As I mentioned that, we'll have interactive, engaging session. I want you people to contribute and, connect with me. It is not one-way communication, right? If you look at these two images, how you correlate those two images, and if you want to say one word, which can be that word or which can be that one sentence. We are talking about communication skills. We are talking about communication skills in higher education. What is the importance? So take 1 minute time, 2 minutes time, look at the image, right? Or rather set of image, right? And let me know if you can unmute your mic, and if you want to speak, you can go for it. Fine. And if you want to write in the chat box, you can go for it. Vishwanath ji has mentioned futile efforts. Good. How to overcome from this? This is a common scenario. This is a even common scenario, rather it's a current scenario, right? You people are there sitting on the other side of the bay, and I'm there. So there is a big, a gap. And whatever I speak, that goes to vain. So literally, I could find that, okay, this image is beautiful and be fitted with this concept. So I went for it. Other than Vishwanath ji, is there anybody who can mention about it? Okay, not being able to reach to the target audience. Okay, why it happens, right? See, I tell you, the next slide will tell you. We don't learn from those who know the best or the most. We learn from those who, who we connect with the best. So it's about connection, right? So if you know how to connect, right? That if connection is established, then things can be done. Right, I tell you that there's a beautiful story. I came across when I was reading one book. Right, there was in Africa there was a lady teacher. She was shifting from one place to other place. She was migrating rather, and so she was a primary teacher. So the students, they thought that we should gift something to our teacher, because she had given lots of efforts to us, and she has taught us for some time, so it is our duty to share something. So everybody brought certain gifts. Now in jungle, what do you expect as gift? It can be a vegetable or fruit or something, right? There was one boy who brought one conch. When the teacher looked at that conch, she was surprised, because the nearest seashore from where that boy can fetch that conch was around 5 miles. So teacher very emotionally asked the boy, you must have walked 10 miles. 5 miles to go, 5 miles to come back. You must have walked 10 miles to get this conch. And that boy replied, 10 miles walking is also a part of the gift. Just imagine how beautiful. That means the student, that intention, the motive, the objective, 10 miles, that boy remembered the teacher, they brought something. So it is not the gift that is important, right? It is also the intention that also makes the thing more important in life. Fine. If I go to the next screen, that would help you. Here we are at this step number 1. People are not participating, people are not responding because of lunch time, right? And it is in Saurashtra, in Gujarat, it is 1 to 4 is it's a curfew, voluntary curfew. People don't prefer to do anything. And that's why it is only Saurashtra in the entire world where we have 2 editions of newspapers. One edition is published in the morning, and second is published in the evening. Because the sun rises twice in Saurashtra, because people go to bed for nap in the afternoon after the lunch. So it happens. So the first step is difficult. When you start doing it, that will be easy. So I request everybody to participate, right? If we can do that. Otherwise, I'll make you participate, right? Okay. So because we all are equals. See, if you look at the experience, if you look at the, when I was referring to your database and your entries, I could find that we all are equals. But I am the first among the equals, and that's why I am on the other side of the screen, right? Otherwise, we all are equals in the way. Instead of I'm teaching something, I'm here to just share whatever I know about it. So if you can take on something from one thing, it is possible that even I learned from you people by your responses. So first step is difficult. We need to understand that. Then the sky is not the limit. So let's charge ourselves and go for it, right? Otherwise, there will be a one-way communication that will not suffice the purpose, right? Okay. Now, this will definitely help you to open your eyes rather wide open, right? Look at the three images. I would like to start from right to left. Right to left. If you look at the last image, what does it convey? If you look at it, happiness is a state of mind. There are people, who enjoy every situation. There are people who do not enjoy in any situation. So it is a state of mind that depends. Fine. So if you're open to learn, you can learn anything. If you're not open to learn, you cannot learn anything. If you're sitting amid the thousands of books, it will not help you. But if you want to learn something, definitely you can be there. Thank you, Pranavji, for sharing your thought about it. Be happy in every moment. That we need to understand that we will be happy in every moment, whatever it is, whether it is the first ring, second ring, or third ring. Does not make difference to us. So it is a state of mind. It is we who decides whether we are happy or not, whether we are learning or not, whether we are present or not, whether we are satisfied or not, whether we are contented or not, right? So it is the state of mind that comes. Right. So here we need to understand that we need to communicate within ourselves. It is about, I'm talking about, intrapersonal communication, right? So he need to understand that we need to communicate with ourselves, right? So that it can reflect. Second thing is, if you look at the second, right, efforts plus wrong tools is equal to no results. This happens, right? I have come across lots of things over here in higher education. If you look at it in terms of communication, students generally, I belong to a platform or university where we have major mass of students from engineering background, right? So what happens over here is students, they underestimate or they consider language as a paper, as a subject, not as a skill, right? And when they go for progress their academic pursuit, at the verge of their completion of their academics, they find that while facing the interviews, while talking to people, while expressing their thoughts, right, by sharing their views, what happens is they find lots of difficulties in terms of communicating their ideas. Why? Because there are things, because they consider it differently, right? I tell you that there was a time when I thought of one experiment. I like to share that experiment, and that might definitely help you. By the time, yeah, you can unmute your mic, you can share your thought anytime, that is most welcome. Okay. Pranav has mentioned that most of the parents are doing same thing with the children nowadays. Exactly, right? See, I tell you that there was a beautiful incident I could find that uh, when a boy and his father they were traveling in a car, his father's car. His father was trying to he was driving his car to drop his kid to his school, and then he'll go to office, right? While they were there on the road, suddenly what happened that the Mercedes-Benz car, his father was driving a car which was Maruti, Swift Desire, for example, right? So that Maruti car was there, and there was one Maruti, Mercedes-Benz car that passed in higher speed, and the boy insisted that, Dad, we want to overtake this car. You please drive car faster than this one. And the father says, no, it is not possible. He said, why it is not possible? You drive it anyhow. He kept on urging, requesting, and that was there. Now, situation, father was trying to explain that, see, there are two different things. It's a Mercedes car, this is a Maruti, there's altogether a difference between Maruti and Mercedes. You understand? Right? How can you compare or expect output of Mercedes from Maruti? Now the question is, right, why parents do not understand this? That every child is not Mercedes, or every child is not Maruti, right? It is not necessary that the boy or a kid, the person, the kid is not good in academics, but must be good in some other things. So we need to understand, we need to find out, and accordingly, it should be done. The problem here is we compare our kids with somebody else's kids, and that's why we find lots of difficulties, and we invite worries, unhappiness, and whatever we have, we forget about it, and whatever we don't have, we always worry about it. This is what the thing is that the first picture says, right? Now, second is the efforts. If you look at these efforts are there, we are putting in the right manner, right? But thing is that if the tool is wrong, right? If the communication mode is wrong, in that case, we will not be able to convey our message. So for selection of tool, selection of channel is very important for this. I want somebody to tell me about this. This is a very beautiful picture. I guess you must not have seen this picture in your life, right? That garlic and orange together. Have you seen this picture? What does it mean? Krishna madam, Swagat ji, Radhika madam, Pranav ji, Mr. Nishant, Dr. Narendra, Dr. Ranjan, if you can, Anirudh ji, Ashish ji, Ashok ji, Bhavika madam, anybody? Okay. See, if you look at this, the garlic has a different nature, right? Or orange is a different nature. Great, great. We cannot ask the fish to climb the tree. Exactly. Thank you. Wrong place. Yes. See, even if you beef it somewhere, that does not mean that you are settled, right? So, thing is that we need to understand. that when things are different, things are see, size can be same, but nature is different, right? We need to understand that. Yeah, exactly. One needs to figure out the strength of the kind and guide accordingly. Exactly. So this is the thing. I tell you that. Okay, I tell you, when I was in my college, I did my graduation. My first graduation was in bachelor's in commerce, right? So when I was in my bachelor's, I could find that there was one gentleman, who was elder to me by at least 10 years, and he was trying for chartered accountant course, CA course. So he attempted for twice, but could not clear the foundation exam, the first step. Now what happened is, when he was asked that why did you select this, because you completed your graduation and you come back to foundation course, why is it so? And he mentioned that some of my friends and relatives told me that I have got a personality like CA. I look like CA, so I have got potential. Now thing is that potential is a different thing, and whatever look is different thing, right? Whatever madam says, PV ma'am says, that this is what we need to understand. Fine. So this is somewhere we face difficulty or we miss out, and that's why the message fails to convey. These are all called barriers to communication. Minded. These are all called barriers to communication. There are more psychological type of barriers, right? So we need to catch hold of these things, and so that we can complete the circle and the message can be conveyed properly. We need to warm up ourselves, right? So what I've done is, uh, there are people who may not be comfortable to speak or write. So what I've done is, I have done something for you people in terms of one exercise. It is not exercise, it's just like sharing things. I've shared one Google form, right? It's a very simple Google form. I'll show you that. You need to write down your name and 3 things according to you what is important for effective communication. Any 3 things, right? It can be anything, right? If you can write a word, don't write a sentence, please. Find 3 words that comes to your mind, right, which is good for effective communication, that you need to write there. Fine. You've got 4 minutes time, and you need to complete this task. Fine. Let's go for it. Let's see who is responding the first, who is the fastest finger first. Let's check out. Click on the Google form link. Write down 3 things according to you. According to you. Oh wow, I got the first. Pranav Bhatt is the fastest finger first. Vishwanathaji is the second one. Very good. I'll share the same screen, right, for you people. Okay. Getting responses. Okay, fine. Great. Very good. Krishna madam has entered the responses. Let's see. Still 1 minute to go. And Great, great. What are the three things, the most important things for an effective communication? Wait for one more minute. There are 20 participants. I got 50% responses. Just like the words, whatever words comes to your mind, according to you, based on your experience, no theory, nothing. Okay, Vitasri madam has mentioned over here. Okay, can you please, Vitasri ji, can you please share details in the Google form?
Yes, sir. I have actually submitted the Google form.
Okay,
So I got three important things I've already submitted. So this one came to my mind, so I dropped it here.
okay, okay. Do you want to edit it? I can, change the rights. Just a
Uh,
minute. No, it's okay,
so
okay. No problem, no
it's
problem.
okay. Yes, sir.
We'll consider
Thank
this
you.
four things, right?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. 30 seconds to go. Okay, Swagat ji has not mentioned. Swagat ji, if you can add the details. Radhika ji, if you can add the details. One participant has joined with Papu ji, so whoever is, you can please add the details. Okay, great, fine. Now we'll start with Dr. Sneha. Dr. Sneha, if you can, okay, would you please send?
Sir, sorry, sir. Neha ma'am is not there just now.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
fine. Bhavika, Vyash, okay, fine. So we may take one more minute time, no problem. You take your time. You add the details because there are people who have network issues. So if you can look at it. Bhavika madam, I guess now the issue is resolved and you will be able to register your response. Great. Okay, fine. So can we start with the first one, Pranav Bhaji, right? Can you elaborate this in 1 minute time, 1 or 2 minutes time? What do you mean by subject knowledge, audience, and confidence? Pranav ji.
Actually, sir, subject knowledge is basically the main requirement of this effective communication. If you don't have a subject knowledge about which we are communicating, so I don't know how the person can be communicate our information to the audience. And yes, audience is, if there is an audience, we require an audience to whom we can communicate. And along with that, a little bit of confidence is required, because if you are facing some of the mobs among you, you have to be a confidence about your communication.
Right. So, Pranav ji, if I rephrase the first one, that is content, right? And content is always considered as the king.
Right, sir.
Right. Content. If your content is sound, there is no problem. Nobody can beat you in the world.
Truly,
Right.
truly.
And if you have a supportive audience the way I am having right now, right? The people who support, who contribute, right? In that case, there will be possibilities for effective communication. Confidence is
Indeed.
also required. Great, thank you, sir. Okay, second, Vishwanathaji, please, if you can
Yeah, good
share.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir, please.
Somebody should have the wish to communicate the knowledge, views, information. So the wish has to start within the person, otherwise communication won't start.
Okay,
And to realize the wish, one should have some confidence, courage to come out with what one wants to express, and required skills like appropriate body language, voice modulation, and all that. So that's what I thought.
right, great. It has been said in English that, if there is a will, there is a way. And I personally believe that if there is a will, there is a highway. It depends on your will, right? So confidence has been, replicated. Skills are required. There is a difference between skill and knowledge. People must have, come across such situations where they distinguish knowledge versus skill. But I tell you that, what is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? How can we distinguish these two words, knowledge and wisdom?
Are you asking me, sir?
Yeah, if you can ensure, otherwise anybody else also.
Yeah. Knowledge is information, content. Wisdom is the way in which you express the content, or the way in which you express your attitude, your approach to the information,
Right.
and all that. Your selection of the information,
Right.
your perception, your view, your side of the information, your angle of the argument, and all that.
Great. Okay. If I put like this, knowledge, skill, and if you look at the third one, wisdom, right? In that case, I tell you that, whatever you mentioned, right? That was.
I didn't get your question, sir.
Yeah. I'm going to explain the things, in that way. That if you put like this, things like this, knowledge, skill, and wisdom. Whatever you know is a knowledge. Whatever you can implement or utilize it, convert into practical approach, that is a skill. But what not to do is wisdom. For example, is tomato a fruit or vegetable?
Yeah.
Is tomato a fruit or vegetable? Right? If somebody says that.
I think, I partially agree with you.
Right.
But I think it's both. So it depends on how are you looking at it. What information you have.
Yeah. So actually, if we come back to the example of tomato is fruit, it's not vegetable, but we should not use it in fruit salad. We should not use it in fruit salad, but that is not wisdom, right? So there are things that we need to understand, right? That works over here. So it was a nice interaction, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, Nirupama madam, right? If you can share, why did you write non-verbal communication, listening, and command of language?
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, in non-verbal communication is the transmission of messages or signals through non-verbal platform like eye contact, facial expression, gesture, posture, and distance between two persons.
Right.
And as we are talking about listening is the key of effective communication. Without the ability to listen effectively, messages are sometimes easily misunderstood. And when we talk about the command over language, having good command of English helps us to have more opportunities in our life. And first of all, if we say about our career.
Right. Great, madam. See, non-verbal communication, it is said that 96% or 94% communication happens through non-verbal communication. So it has got a major role. We are first seen and then we are heard, right? So that your body speaks before you speak. That's for sure, right? And listening is input to speaking, right? So if you are not good listener, you cannot be a good speaker. That's very important thing. I have come across, because we as in a university, we are designing different courses. And presently I'm designing one course on effective listening skills. So I could find that there are lots of courses available on internet, on different platforms regarding speaking. But there are very few courses that are very related to listening skills, right? So we need to understand that, whatever is input, right? So the thing is that the whatever data that is processed first, it is called the process of encoding. So when you listen to the things, if it does not fit your mind, in that case there will be a problem. I'm going to show you one beautiful image, right? When there is no sync in between your brain and your tongue, what happens? So I'm going to talk about it. And command over language definitely is required. And to have a command over language, what is required? There should be a good articulation power, a good lexical resources should be there, grammar and vocabulary, and the content what has been mentioned from the first row, that content should be there. And thank you, madam, for your response. Okay, PV, madam, if you can mention.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, please, ma'am, please.
Yeah. So first of all, this topic is quite interesting, sir. Yeah, each one has their own perception. But as a teacher for more than 22 years now, teaching undergraduate engineering students, I have observed that most of the cases, people don't completely listen to what we are trying to communicate. And if they listen, they just answer, but they never try to understand and then decide, figure out. It only takes a few seconds, but they need to figure out whether they really have to answer that question, because every damn question need not be answered. Sometimes it just could be a communication. So I personally thought first they need to learn how to listen clearly and then understand. And so that needs focus. So I thought these could be the things which are like soft skills, most important in most of the students today. This is my opinion, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You have connected these three dots together. See, I tell you that there is one beautiful distinguished that we teach in engineering when we have communication skills as a syllabus, right? Hearing versus listening. Hearing is whatever comes to your ears, right? Whatever comes, any sound. But if you can decode that sound, if you understand that sound, that becomes listening. So here, when you understand what the sound is, right, that becomes listening, and that is very important.
Yes.
So the 3 out of 4 responses, you could find every row that there is one listening, right? Word.
Yes.
Understanding
Yes,
is
sir.
important because people generally they react when they listen. Actually, they should respond.
Correct.
Right?
They react immediately. Yes.
Yeah, instead of responding.
Very
right?
well.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And focus is important, concentration is important. When that happens, when we have clarity of thoughts, when we have clarity of mindset, that
Yes.
when objective is very clear about it.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
madam,
Thank
for
you, sir.
sharing these points, right? Okay, Mitashi, madam, please, if you can share your details.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity. Sir, while I completely agree with all my previous participants, co-participants who spoke about subject knowledge, desire or wish, I completely agree. It really made me learn things also on this case. But I think, sir, this emotion part, generally we happen to completely ignore. Sometimes if at all we are angry, sometimes we go on shouting, go on yelling without actually knowing how it is going to impact people and what would be the consequences, or like any other things also. Sometimes we think, say, like we speak so many things without much thinking. So this, and after we are done, we see that, oh my god, what did I just do? That creates a lot of problem, and then it becomes very difficult to get back again. So if we can just be intelligent enough to utilize our emotions in a proper way, so that we can be able to deliver our speech in a way we want to communicate. And I think that would really help good relationship grow and sustain. That is my first criteria. Then I come to understanding, and of course, like if we are understanding enough, if we are emotionally intelligent, we would understand that, okay, fine, so this person right now before me is not being able to understand. Let me have some patience, let me give this person a little bit time, let me be in his or her shoe and try to understand, and then maybe I will come to communicate with him later on. So that understanding part is very important. Again, it is a small branch towards emotional intelligence. And then listening, of course, like I highly, I'm completely like in favor of whoever have talked about listening skills. I'm totally with them.
Right. Great. And you had also mentioned one more thing, in the chat box.
Yes, body language. So that is like sometimes we speak something, sometimes our body language is different. So if they do not match, we carry forward completely different. So that is also important.
Right, right. See, emotional intelligence, I tell you one thing about it. I came across one beautiful presentation or concept. I'm okay, you are okay. I am okay. I type in the chat box. I am okay and you are okay. Fine. That's a beautiful concept, that I come across. It's about, by the one gentleman who wrote one book, and based on that book, this concept was elaborated. It's about everybody has three different mindsets, right? One is child, second is adult, and third is parent. Listen to me very carefully. It's a very beautiful thing, right? If you type in Google, I am okay, you are okay, plus PPT, you will get this PPT around 65, 70 slides, and the entire concept will be cleared. It's worth understanding to avoid any conflict at family and in a workplace, anywhere. If you understand this, if you can practice this, your most of the problems can be resolved. I just give you a brief idea about it, because with this word emotional intelligence, that has revived in my mind what I read somewhere in 2011. Right. So here, I am okay, you are okay. That says that everybody has got three different state of mind. One is parent on the top, second is adult, third is child. In parent, there is mother and father. Mother is for tenderness, love. Father is strict, prohibition, and all this. Right. Now, you have these three, and the other person, when we talk about interpersonal communication, the other person has also the same thing, three. Now, if you can cascade, right, in that case, you can definitely, go for effective communication. For example, if there is a kid at home, so you cannot every time preach. You need to tell your kid that, okay, if you answer this question, I'll buy you something. That demand something, right? When there's adult to adult communication, you advise, you suggest that if you do this kind of thing, it will be helpful to your career, your life. Parent, you give some love, try to explain with, mother is there for, tenderness and love. Father is for strictness. So being a teacher, I have experienced, right? When I go to the classroom, sometimes I become a kid. Right? Sometimes I become adult, sometimes I become mother, sometimes I become father. So if you can cascade these roles, right, you can definitely go for effective communication. Fine. If you're free in the evening time, please go through this presentation, or if required, I'll also share the links with you people. If I get the link, I'll share with you people for your reference. So that was very beautiful thing, Mutasri madam. You have opened up old Pandora box, which was there in 2011. Thank you very much for that.
Sir, it was really insightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ashok Kumarji, please, if you can share what do you mean by listening, clear and concise, self-confidence, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. Hello, am I audible, sir?
Please, sir. Please, sir. Yes, you're audible.
Actually, I am not a very good communicator. When I speak, I find very difficult to communicate with one to many. I'm okay with one to one. For me, listening means in order to exchange ideas during communication, there should be careful listening. Okay. Without listening, we cannot communicate properly. And second is communication should be short and clear without expressing unnecessary words. And third is confidence, self-awareness. Means self-confidence allows us to speak concisely and with clarity. That's it, sir.
Right. Great. Okay. So Kumarji, first thing is that you are a good communicator. See, I have seen lots of people, at different age groups, they are not able to speak. You can speak, you can, share the details. Thing is that you need to, keep on doing this. This will definitely help you to be a good orator, right? And I know that it will happen very soon. The way you mentioned listening, that is very important, because we have come across the same thing. Clear and concise, that means there should be clarity of thoughts when you convey your message, and clarity in your message, the words you select, right? If you try to be Sasi Tharoor in your communication, right, you will always find your, the other people busy finding the, words in dictionary. And this happens very difficult for everybody, I tell you, right? I had one colleague, I'll not name it, right? But when we used to talk with that person, that faculty member, we used to be very fine, we could find that, okay, that person is very ordinary while interacting, while talking, right? The way we people are there. But whenever we used to receive the emails from that faculty member, I'm using the word faculty member because I don't want to even disclose the gender, right? I could find that there are words which are very difficult to understand, very difficult to find. Then once I could find that, why is it so that why that faculty member's writing skill is so effective or so different than the oral skill. So one day I could find that that faculty member used to type first in the Word, MS Word file, and then shift F7. That means you can find the synonyms, whatever the difficult word is, you insert it, and then you send the mail. By doing so, what happened is, that person was trying to impress people, right? That okay, this look at my English. But thing is that in the world of communication, the importance of communication or objective of communication is not to impress people, but to convince people. And that's why there should be clarity in the message and clarity in the mindset of the person who is sending the message. So I agree with whatever Ashok Kumar ji has mentioned, right? Okay. Now Ashish ji, if you can, share, throw light on what you have mentioned: confident, clear, and listener, please. Ashish ji. If Ashish ji is not available, we can wait for Ashish ji in the next turn. By the time I can request Krishna madam to share. Krishna madam. Okay. Anirudh sir. Dr. Sneha.
Yes, sir. He's there now.
Manjula ji. Bhavika madam.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Please.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, please, ma'am.
First of all, thank you to give me this opportunity. Actually, sir, I have used 3 words. First one is practice. Especially, I would like to mention here that the question is about effective communication. It's not only about communication. So, if we want to make it effective, we must have enough practice.
Okay.
Because practice makes person perfect, right? Okay. So first thing I choose to put here. Second is knowledge of language. If we do not have enough knowledge of particular language, then it's not possible. And third, I want to mention about presence of mind. Sometimes what happens that we have knowledge, we have enough practice, but we are not doing it with the whole presence of mind. Then again, we will face the problem. So these 3 things are really important for effective communication, according to me.
Great. Okay. Definitely practice is there because if you are doing it for the first time without rehearsal, right, you're inviting definitely, worries, because presentation is considered as present tension, right? If you're doing for the first time, it becomes present tension. Fine. So practice is definitely required. And knowledge of language, whatever language is there. So content, articulation of language, command over language was whatever Nirupama madam mentioned about it is required. Peace of mind. Also we can say presence of mind. Right? Presence of mind is there. That is required, because if you do it holistically, if you do it with presence of mind, definitely it will help you. Fine. Okay. Anybody other than this?
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I'm here.
Yes, Neha madam, please.
Yes, sir. I have written, mentioned three words, that is communication skills, body language, and knowledge.
Madam,
As all of us belong to.
before you start, I would like to tell you that if you have
Yes.
gone for tea break, you should also allow other participants to go for tea break.
No, sir. Actually, I am busy with the documentation of first phase, so I am doing that only simultaneously.
Fine, fine, fine. No, please.
Yes, sir.
That reminded me of our communication over over cup of tea.
Right, sir. How can we forget that? That was the very, we can say, precious moment in the days of Marwadi.
Right, right. Please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. So I have mentioned communication skills, body language, and knowledge. Now, as of we belong to the communication skills department, we can tell that we need some basic knowledge regarding saying something. So when we have right words as well as right body language, that can make effective communication. So for that, I have mentioned.
Great. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So, madam is expert in communication skills. So, whatever she has mentioned, if we can go for it. So, body language is there, as I mentioned, that your body speaks before you speak. Knowledge is that is content. Content is important, and communication skills itself. If you look at the entire process, right, that we do in everyday life, but sometimes we don't do it with presence of mind. We don't do it consciously. That's why there is a problem. Okay. By the time Ashish ji, Krishna ji, and Anirudh, right? If you are available, and Manjula ji, right? If you're available and if you want to share.
Yes, sir. Yes, very good afternoon to you, sir. Sir, I mentioned be clear and be conscious and be confident and body language. Yeah, very first, be clear and be conscious. Whenever we are going to deliver the messages, it's very clear way, a conscious manner. Then only the receiver can easily grasp the meaning, easily understand the meaning. Otherwise, they couldn't. And the last one is body language. Yeah, body language is the range of non-verbal signals that you can communicate our feelings and intentions. Yeah, these include our postures, facial expressions, and hand gestures. This will, these are all the good channels to transmit our information to the receiver. Thank you, sir.
Great, great. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So be clear and concise. That is important because I mentioned that there should be clarity of sender and the content. Be confident, definitely that should be there because the confidence is definitely measured when you communicate with other people, right? And body language is definitely all-time favorite of everybody, right? And that's most essential part of communication because 94% of communication happens through non-verbal communication. That's why. Okay. Now the participants who are remaining, is there anybody who wish to contribute and share? I can find that there are a few people available in the chat box. They have mentioned it. If you like to share. Okay, no worries. Let's come back to our presentation. We checked your responses. Now, if you look at the title of today's session is Importance of Communication Skills or Communication in Higher Education. So what I've done is I have divided our title into 4 parts. Point importance, communication skills in higher education. Fine. So communication, if you talk about communication, whether we believe it or not, whether we understand or not, whether we know or not, but communication happens around us, right? It is a continuous process, a universal process. You know, the moment the child is conceived in the womb of a mother, right? From then to when the person is died and his photo is hang on the wall with one garland, right? During this process, at every stage, communication happens. When you hear, dogs barking at midnight, they are communicating. Whether we understand or not, there's a different story. right? But they communicate. By not communicating, people also communicate. When there are more participants and very less participants communicate, right? That also communicates in a different way. So we need to understand that communication plays different types of role. If you talk about different forms of communication, right? So we can divide that. For example, one is intrapersonal communication, the communication that you do with yourself, right? I know about females, right? Because I'm a husband and fortunate father of two daughters, right? So I know that when my daughters, the youngest daughter is only 4 years old, when she starts Alexa and she dances before the mirror, right? So when you have seen that people they talk with themselves looking at the mirror, right? So communicating with ourselves. When you must have seen that lots of batsmen, when they are fail to perform, they hit the bat or racket, right? And they speak, right? So this is what communicating with oneself, right? Intrapersonal, right? Extrapersonal is when we communicate with non-living things, the things which are not there, right? For example, when you talk to non-living things or non-human things rather, talking to your pets, talking to mobile phone, right? So when we go for such kind of thing, that goes with extrapersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is something when we communicate one to one. What one participant mentioned, that I am confident about interacting with person, right? When there is one to one, is interpersonal communication. Next one is mass communication. When we communicate with the larger amount of people, right? It can be a social media, it can be mass media, it can be news, there are papers, it can be magazines, it can be any format, it can be blogging, fine. So communication is there. For skills, we had a discussion about it, that whatever is knowledge, but if you cannot implement that knowledge, right? In that case, that knowledge cannot be converted, information cannot be converted to skill. I tell you that there's a beautiful story that I used to share with my students, very frequently. That there were four friends. They were sitting near Gate of India, and it was Sunday afternoon, and they were enjoying their time. Suddenly, one of the friends, he just ran and jumped in the sea. You see, and the other four, they were looking at him. That the one who jumped in the sea was crying for help. The problem was all four, right? They were not knowing how to swim. The one who jumped in the sea, and the three, they were there looking at him, right? Now, thing is that they were crying for help, they were screaming. Meanwhile, the one boy of a fisherman was there at the bank of the seashore. He just swam to him, took him out, right? And when he became conscious, if you remember what happened in the last scene of Three Idiots, they were hitting his friend. Same way here, all these three friends were beating him. But why did you commit suicide? If you had told us, we would have given you 101 effective ways of committing suicide. Why did you go for this? Committing suicide. Why did you jump in the sea when you know that you don't know how to swim? And the boy, he mentioned that I completed one book of 300 pages last night, how to swim well. How to swim well, right? Now, thing is that I know when to move my hands, when to move my legs, how to inhale, how to exhale, right? But thing is that was not experimented, that was not skill, that was a knowledge only. And the boy who saved his life had never seen the face of school. So this is about skill that we need to understand. And thing is that when we teach in the classroom, when we go for the classroom, when we deliver the lectures, sometimes it happens that we fail to give room to the students to convert that knowledge into skill. So that is project-based learning, object around what we call it. Project-based learning is there, right? Then active learning is there. There is a boom, and the West people do this. So we need to have such kind of thing. If I give you a overview or such idea with reference to communication, what is the scenario in higher education? I tell you that the things are changing faster. Earlier generation gap was 30 years time. Now it is 3 years time only. If you've got two kids, there is a gap of 3 years. Both have different types of mentalities, right? Both are different versions, rather, right? I tell you. So in higher education, we can find that with the advent of technology, the things are moving so fast, right? I tell you that you must have remembered, or you must be, if I ask you within 10 seconds or 1 minute time, you can tell me who is your best teacher, your favorite teacher, who is your most favorite teacher. If you remember the name of that person, your most favorite teacher, fine. So let's have one quick activity. In 3 minutes time, you need to type the name of your most favorite teacher in the chat box. Great. Nirupama madam is the fastest, has won the fastest finger first. Okay. Dr. Suprit Kaur has mentioned Mrs. Kaur. Great. Bhavika madam has mentioned Kamal Reta sir. Exactly. Department of English, I guess. Right. P. madam has mentioned Hamel Alexander sir. Great. Sneha madam has mentioned Stinda Ghosh. Okay. Okay. Great. Great. See, when I talked about your most favorite teacher and everybody, those who were not active in the activity, they also contributed, because this is something, when we are in this in a pious profession, we definitely never miss a chance to remember our favorite teachers. We need to go with great regards. So, with due respect, I convey my profound regards to all great teachers who have been listed here in the chat box, right? Now, my question is, can you teach the way your most favorite teacher used to teach today in the class? I repeat the question. Can you teach in the same way the way your most favorite teacher used to teach in the class? Trying, great, okay? Great, okay, fine. Now I tell you that it is difficult. It is not impossible, it is difficult. Why is it difficult? Why you need to try? Why? Because the students have changed. The situation has changed. Right? You cannot try to do the same way. You cannot be the replica of your best teacher. Right? Because the students are different and they keep on changing every day. I tell you that I have experienced that even in whatever I have taught in one semester, the same when I go for the next semester, there are changes. It's a part and parcel of life, right? So that is we need to understand. And if we can do that, that will definitely help you to go ahead. Fine. Okay. Now this image, this is a very a beautiful picture showcasing one concept of computer science. It is GIGO. It is GIGO. Can anybody tell me what do you mean by GIGO? Is there anybody who has an idea about GIGO? Excellent. Dr. Ranjan Zavaya, thank you very much. You absolutely answered correctly. Garbage in, garbage out. Right? So whatever things goes in, that comes out. It's a simple process, a simple concept. So whatever we have, if we can have those things clear, that will definitely help us. Okay? I guess must be feeling bored, is it? I've been speaking for around 80 minutes time. Are you feeling bored, everybody? Okay, thank you very much for this fastest and positive compliment. Thank you everybody. Okay, now I want to make it more interactive and interesting. Fine. So what we want to do is, thank you everybody, thank you. What we want to do is, we want to talk about effective communication, right? We are talking about the topic. Now, thank you, madam. Now, thing is that how we can, make things interactive. See, if to make class interactive, you don't need to go for, scientific or heavy gadgets. With simple gadgets or simple things, you can make things interesting, right? So how can we do that? I give you an example, right? For example, if you want to go for make your class engaged, and if you want everybody to participate, right? Because learning by doing is a very important thing, right? So here I'm sharing that requires a little bit of homework that I have done for you people, because we remembered from the first response only, content is king. It has been mentioned, right? So I'm sharing one Google Sheet, the link of Google Sheet. If you can find this, everybody. And I want you people to come to that link. Now I can find that people are faster in communication. Great. There are people there, right? Okay. Now what you need to do is, I'll give you an explanation and then you can start. I'll give you around 15 minutes time or 20 minutes time. Look at this. What I've done is, I have written here few phrases, right? What you need to do is, this is a list of do's and don'ts of effective communication. So what you can do is, you can find, for example, one should be a good listener, or one should not be a good listener, right? If it is there, you can write, for example, one should be there. If the word one should, be fits, you can write do. If it is, if one should not be fits, you can write do not. Do or don't. You need to write like this. Ranjan madam has started this. Okay, great. So everybody, 10 minutes time, faster. Everybody, start doing it. Dr. Narendra has started, great. Harika madam has started, great. Ranjan madam is moving like skyrocket. Madam, you need to write, instead of no, you need to write do not. Because we need to write do or don't, like this. Great. Dr. Kaur. Okay, Dr. Alak Kumar has started working, great. Vishwanatha ji is writing. Bhavika madam is writing, okay. Ashok Kumar ji is writing, great. PV madam has started. Ashish Pandya ji has started, great. Happy to see people working, participating. Mind it, you have got 10 minutes only. After 10 minutes, we'll stop this, right? Within 10 minutes, you need to complete this task. Everybody, faster. Oh, fastest speaker first. Ranjan madam has completed. Great. Okay, you can help your colleagues. It's peer-to-peer learning, right? But I wish that you don't simply copy and paste, right? You write it. Great. Seven minutes to go, right? Okay, Dr. Kaur has started working, great. Here I can see Dr. Srivastava has completed, almost completed. Don't miss out your row, right? I guess the people who are not present, I'll hide those rows so that you can do it easily. 6 minutes to go. I guess everybody can be accommodated in 1-3. Five minutes to go. You make sure that you read it carefully, because there are traps. Okay, PV madam, thank you very much. Dr. Kaur, excellent. Manjuraji, make it fast. Vishwanathaji, you reached almost halfway. Please make sure that you complete the things within the stipulated time. Four minutes to go. Yeah, 3 minutes to go. Okay, Vishwanathaji, you are only one tab away to complete your task. So Kumarji has completed his task. Great. If you face any difficulty or question or query, you can type in a chat box so that we can resolve that. Otherwise, 2 minutes to go. Please acknowledge in the chat box when you complete, please write done so that I can get acknowledged that you have completed the task. Excellent, Bhavika ji. Yeah, Vishwanath ji, I'll check. I'll cross check, right? No problem. It's completed. Excellent. Harika ji, done. Okay, great. Okay. Dr. Narendra, great. Okay, 2 minutes to go. Dr. Chandra Chakrabarti, okay. Let me check. Yeah, 14 number. Please. I'll give you 3 minutes time. I guess you will be able to complete it, right? Great, please. Great, Manjula ji. Okay. What about the others? Please acknowledge. Okay, last 1 minute to go. Pranav Bhatt, okay. Let me check. Okay, Chef Pranav Bhatt, right? 77. Pranav, your number is 77, if you can check it out. Great. Okay. Fine. Now, let's come back to the presentation. I'll just keep this open for you people, right? After this. So I'll change the rights for some time, that you cannot edit it. You can only see. Pranavji, you can do it later. There's no problem, right? Yep, I have updated the permission, so you will be able to do it after the session, right? I'll keep it open. I'll also share the link with you people for your reference. Fine, you can use the same activity if you wish to utilize for some of the praise, right? Okay. Now, let's go back to the presentation, our main business, right? Okay. So I guess now everybody is refreshed, isn't it? Okay. You will find your name in the presentation when I update it, right? There's no problem. I hope that people are now refreshed, recharged. So this is what we are on the last phase of our presentation, right, on the session. So whatever things you want to share in terms of your suggestions, your learning, your take home, right? Whatever is there in your, according to you, if you want to suggest something to me, as I mentioned in the beginning of the session, that we all are equals. So it is it's bi-directional, right? You are learning, I'm also learning from you people, right? Different things, and that comes with different experiences. So your suggestions for the session, if you want to share, if you want to share that what was your learning today, and what is your take home, if you want to mention. All right, thank you. So you can mention, you can unmute your mic and speak. I would be happy to listen to you people, because I know that you people have good vocal cords. So you can, one by one, you can please.
Hello, sir.
Please, ma'am.
Yeah, this is Dr. PV.
Okay.
Sir, suggestions, nothing, sir. It's absolutely fine the way you're doing it. You screwed up after this lunch session that we feeling so energetic. So no suggestions. Learning, yes, sir. I have learned so many things from this session of yours. Like little things definitely make a lot of difference during communication. That's my learning, sir.
Right.
And takeaway. Sir, instead I would like to add here something. Today's teaching learning methodology now has to be taking a different shape. I wish this could be made compulsory for all over the teaching process. It should be more interactive, with more activities and less of that blah blah blah. The teacher goes on teaching and the kid has to write down. Even in engineering level, this is what we are observing. So students don't have that patience to sit through the classes for long hours. Instead, every class learning should be more packed with activities, and the activity should lead them towards learning and the end of the day marks that they generally call. This is my opinion, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else? See, I spoke for you for 90 minutes. Can't you speak for me for 2 minutes? Fine. Vishwanathji, as mentioned, take-home activities, interpretations, cheerfulness. Thank you. Manjulaji, really, it was great session. Thank you. Okay. Vinny Angel mentioned that the session is so interactive and informative. Okay. I accept all this. Dr. Ranjit Sapaya. Okay, great. This is what I wanted to mention. See, the thing that the crux, the gist that I wanted to convey through session, right, was something that I want to share. This is the word. If you remember, if you can recall, starting from the session, every time I was focusing on asking for your feedbacks, right? So in communication, feedback is very important. Feedback is very important. So without feedback, you cannot consider the cycle of communication as completed, right? So feedback is very important. If you observe, at each stage of the session, I was asking for feedback. I was asking your responses, your reactions, right? So that is important. So if you want to mention in one word that what is the importance of effective communication in higher education, it is feedback. Sometimes we fail to fetch the feedback from the audience, and that's the reason it goes, it becomes monologue. It becomes one directional. It should be bidirectional, right? So that is what I wanted to convey through the session. So if I tell you that feedback is important, you may not believe it, you may believe it, because people always believe in what you do. They might believe in you what you speak, right? So I wanted to convey this through example, by setting an example. So I designed the entire session in such a way where I can take the feedback, because when I ask you people for your expectations, your objectives, why you want to attend the class, if you look at it, everybody mentioned different dimensions, different angles, but nobody, nobody talked about feedback, where feedback is very important in a way, right? And that is very important, and that's why I kept on asking you people, and you people responded to it, and that was the reason why it has become more interactive, right? Okay, any of you would like to share your expressions about the session, you can do it. I think people have started writing in the chat box, but if you want to unmute your mic and speak and share, because your tone, your, the pitch and everything, that also is considered when you share your expression, right? So anybody of you would like to share your expression about the session, you're free to tell or share your details.
Yes, anybody?
Yes, your questions, your queries. If you want to, want me to explain anything, if you have any questions or doubts or anything, please, share. I'll be able to, in my, whatever best capacity I have, I'll try to resolve your queries. If not, then I can take you to the most important slide of the session, the last one. Thank you very much for listening to me very carefully, patiently, even this porcelain session, right? So in the grave time, in the very tough time, you participated, contributed. That was a great thing. I thoroughly enjoyed the session. I expect the same from you people.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was really a very interesting and informative session. And you have talked about the two things, that feedback. Feedback is a key of communication, that I agree. And if we talk about taking away anything, so that is the thing from each and every session, we take away something. Okay, that is the main purpose of this STTP, because each and every expert is expert in something. So we get something new and new things from each and everyone. So that is very correct, sir. So thank you very much, sir. On behalf of GIT, once again, I thank you for sparing your time.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I sign off with
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, wait, we are posting the link for feedback. It is already there. Now you can fill.